This is David Hem over at Ashworth Insurance Services. We are a family owned and operated agency with over 60 years of combined insurance experience. It is our mission to design the best benefits plan for you and your company. Whether you are self employed, whether you're a large business, or anything in between, we've got you covered. We can find you the right plan for your business and your budget. So today I wanted to talk to you about what should you look at in an insurance plan? What should you look at in your whole insurance design? Because I've said it before, a single plan is not going to cover all your bases. You're not going to get everything you need out of your plan. I mean, I guess it's possible if you're willing to fork out like, $5,000 a month or something for some Cadillac premium plan. But most of the time we can't afford something like that. And so the question is, what should I care about? What am I looking at to see if I'm covered? For you to just say, I have an insurance plan is not sufficient for you and your family. We actually want to look at more to that. So I'm going to break down insurance into three major buckets. The first bucket is day to day. So this is your normal stuff. This is your doctor's visits. This is your OB. This is your wellness. This is, something like telemedicine, your normal things. You got the cold, you got a flu, you got an ear infection. You need something to help you go to the doctor and take care of those things. That's your day to day. The second thing is accidents. So 2/3 of Americans have accidents every year, right? Something inevitably happens. And they're called accidents because you don't expect them to happen. It was an accident. They can be minor, right? They could be an oil burn. It could be a slip and fall. Something fell on you. You stubbed your toe too hard. Anything like that can be in this realm of accidents. So you want to make sure that you have something that covers you for that too. Sometimes those accidents are pricey. I mean, if your kid falls down and breaks his arm, like that's a bad day. That you're going to go be forking up a lot of cash to deal with that situation. So you want to see if your plan covers that. What happens if that takes place? Do you have an accident plan in place? So if you do have to go to that hospital and you do have to go fix that broken arm, that it's not going to cost you a ton of money. That there are ways in which we can avoid that. There are ways actually, in fact, where you could go deal with that. You could be at the doctor, you could have this, surgery have to take place, all these things, and walk out of there with a check for, $6,000+ because of that situation to help cover those costs. The accidents could happen to you. If you're the primary breadwinner, if your family relies upon your income and you get hurt, it's not just that you have to pay for the doctor's bills. You also have mortgage to pay for. You have people to feed. You have a car to drive. Like there's other things to think about that need to be paid for that aren't in standard insurance plans typically. And your last one, number three, the last one, and honestly, the biggest one to consider is catastrophic events. What happens if you have your worst day ever? Have you thought through what would happen if you all of a sudden got a $50,000 doctor's bill? How do you resolve that? Does your plan cover you so that way that doesn't happen, right? You may have a plan that is a $5,000 deductible and, they'll cover the rest in a max out of pocket of, 10 grand or something like that. The question is, if that catastrophic event happened, do you have that money on hand? Right? Are you going to have to go into debt to go ahead and cover 10 grand? Right? What do you have in the bank for you? The standard way to look at it is if you're younger family, chances are you don't have that kind of money lying around. You don't just have 10 grand sitting aside that you can cover the cost of those things. If you're older, you may actually have that. And so it's not worth your time or really in this case, your money to have a additional plan to help you cover that gap, right? To help you cover what happens in those situations. So an example is hospital indemnity plan. That's an additional plan that you could have on top of your standard insurance plan that would help you cover this. So the example is a guy got hurt. He ended up being in the hospital for like 5 days, but he did have one of these plans. So he was unable to work during that time, right? Being a self employed guy, if, you know, you don't kill, you don't eat, that situation, he's not at work, he's not making any money. And that's a big deal, especially if you're self employed. There's nothing else to rely upon. So not only did his plan cover his doctor's bills, but he had an additional wrap on with this indemnity plan that actually gave him um, $6,000 a day that he was in the hospital. So he walked away with a $30,000 check over that course of the week to help him pay. Right. That was just that was a benefit of his plan. So all that to say, there are all kinds of ways that plans and designs can be customized to fit your specific needs. So take a look at these three things. Like I had said, what does it happen and how are we going to cover day to day? How are we going to cover accidents? And what is my life going to look like with a catastrophic event? And how does my insurance help me? These are the things you need to think through, look through to make a design for you and your family. If you want help with that, if you're not sure what you're looking for, if you're not sure what your plans cover, reach out. I'd love to walk through it with you, kind of let you know where your plan's strong in and where you might want to think about adding some additional coverage or having some sort of idea to deal with those things. So reach out to me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.